Welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is October 17th, 2022. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Let's Stair Step to Profitable Trading with Object Trader Assist. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we'll go ahead and get started. By the way, real quick on our member area, this is the members area that you have to log in to get into. I have been putting these training videos up here. Basically, special training session using parameters, regions and wedge, special training on trail stops, and mid-band and phantom with assist. Okay, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4 good webinars to really teach you all about how to use the assist. And I'm going to go over quite a bit of that tonight too. And always keep in mind, this is the old ebook for Object Trader. I'm working on the new one as we speak. It's going to take a while, but I am working on it, and we'll get Ninja Trader 8 on an ebook, and it'll be a little different on the training on the next webinar, on the next website that I'm putting up. All right, and then after that, just be sure and watch the webinars that are weekly, like this is last week. Actually, no, this isn't last week. I've still got to fix that one. I apologize for that. There was a lot of glitches in it, so I still haven't gotten it totally fixed. But anyway, this is a Monday night webinar 2 weeks ago. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to a chart first. Now, before I get into stair stepping, okay, now did everybody do their assignment? I told everybody when you go to the grocery store, just start saying stair stepping, stair stepping, stair stepping until you get it in your mind that stair stepping is pretty important. Okay. And, when you take your shower in the morning or, when you go to bed at night, stair stepping, stair stepping. Remember that stair stepping so you can get these nice mid-band and phantom trades when they come to you. Okay. But first off, before you do a thing on your chart, just like I always teach, you got to figure out which direction it's going to go. Okay. Now let me ask a quick question on this. Don't look at your charts. That'll be cheating. Okay. What direction would you be going on this chart, or how would you assume that you're going to go a certain way? Okay. Now, so far, yes, it is stair stepping to the upside, right? So far. Now, here's the way I personally do it though, and you've seen me do this like 1,000 times. I just went ahead and did one here real quick here. Okay. Notice that I've got, if it breaks, kisses, and heads up, we'd be fine on a long, right? If it breaks, kisses, and rolls, we'd be fine on a short. Okay. You've always got to remember that with smaller bars and the fast movement of markets, that you've got to be ready to go either way it decides to go. Okay. That's super, super important. Now, why did I draw this right here? Well, you can clearly see that's lightning 3 support. See that dot right there? That's lightning 3 support. So if it breaks it, kisses, and rolls, we're going to short it. If it breaks, kisses somewhere in here, and heads up, we're going to go long. It might even go down as low as this right here, something like this, and even head up. See what I mean? But you've got to be ready to take it whichever way it decides to go. Okay. Now, the other thing you've got to do is you've got to draw your lightning. Okay. Lightning, in my opinion, is one of the most important things you can put on your chart, or you've got to know how to read it. Okay. You don't have to necessarily put it on your chart if you can read the chart already. Okay. Let me show you what I mean by this. Okay. We're going to put lightning right here. We could even put lightning right here as far as that goes. All right. Now there's where we're at right now. Okay. So it's not doing this yet. Okay. It's not doing anything like that by any means. So let's get rid of this. This doesn't count at all, right? Because it's not doing anything like that. Now, if it does do this, we'd be happy to take it. If it busted up, pulled back and kissed, and took off again, we'd take that in a heartbeat, okay? So what I'm trying to get at most of all is that every single day you want to diagnose your charts as to which way the trade could go, okay? And that's diagnosed, okay? Now the important thing is to turn on your mid-band trader, okay? Check your Fibonacci's, for instance. I like to check fibs from higher levels. For instance, here's a fib right here, thrust retrace. Let's check it. That did a little, let's see, went all the way up. Well, it did a 61% retracement on a big move down. So that could easily head down, couldn't it? Didn't quite get to 61. Well, it came really, really close. I think it tagged it. Nope, 2 ticks away. That's not bad though. That's a 61% retracement on a big move down. Okay, so that could easily do this. All right, now let's look at the fib from the other direction and see what this might be. Okay, there's a swing. Let's check it and see what it is. Okay, this one did a 50% retrace to the downside, or pardon me, from basically a high. Let me draw it from way up here so you can see it. Draw our lightning 3. Okay, so that had a big thrust retrace. So that was a 50% retrace. I'll bet you $100 bill that was a phantom. I just about bet you, because it looks like a phantom to me. And we'll look at the chart and find out. Okay, so now we're at the dilemma. Okay, we could go either way, but let's look at the actual chart and see what's going on, see what our colors are. So we'll simply go with our colors. And there's our chart right there. Okay, that was a phantom. You get to where you can see these pretty easily. If you just draw them so many times, you'll see them. Okay, so we're going to draw on our chart again. If they break this, we're going to be looking for a short, right? Clearly. Go ahead and save that as our template. It's fine. That way you can see it better. Okay. And to me, let's see, I have a high, low, lower, high, not a lower low yet. So they're not breaking down just yet, right? Unfortunately, we missed the phantom here, so I wouldn't chase this trade. Now let me tell you why on that. Okay. Your phantom, when you get a thrust up and a pullback, that's a beautiful phantom right there. Take the coin. This one's already happened, so you're not going to jump in it now. It's too late. The trade was down here with the phantom trader. It would fire right across there. Okay, so we're not going to take a mid-band trade. Okay. Now, the idea of stair stepping that I think is so important is that stair stepping right there. It's flatlined. Right. It's flatlined. So it's a phantom area, right? And we missed the phantom here, and we weren't up at 530. So what do we do now? Well, it's going to start stair stepping. You can about take that to the bank. It'll start stair stepping. So what I tell people to do all the time is it's either going to start stair stepping this direction, so we could turn on mid-band trade, or it's going to stair step this direction, and we could turn on mid-band trade. Everybody see that? Now, the way I designed the mid-band trader, it's not going to fire short unless you get a short mid-band. It's not going to fire a long unless you get a long mid-band. And that's not a long mid-band. That's a sideways mid-band as far as mid-band traders concerned. Okay, it has to be this color mid-band here, or it has to be the blue one for the long. The short has to be magenta or red. See the red color there? Pardon me, Linda will be getting the phone. People know not to call during my webinar, but I didn't turn it off. Okay, everybody see that? So basically you've got a stair stepping mid-band, right? And you get these mid-band trades. So why wouldn't that work again and again and again? But you've got to check your fibs and things like that too, okay? So if you turn this on right here, all right, I've got a little bit newer version of Object Trader than y'all do, but let's say, for instance, you just want to do 2 contracts only, okay? You just simply set your max contracts at 2. That way it won't go over 2. and then you turn on your auto trader. Okay. Now, if this stair steps, it's going to get me in a trade one way or the other. Okay. Now, a mid-band trade will automatically put the stop at line 1 if it goes long and line 7 if it goes short. Okay. So what we've got to do is see which way it's going to do. All right. Now, keep in mind, you're going to see this kind of trades all the time. Okay. Line 1 is the best entry for a phantom. Absolutely. If you can get line 1, you won't always get it though, because see, sometimes you'll get a close bar inside this little sweet spot right here, and it'll go like a house of fire. So I don't wait for that. But when I get into a phantom trade, right off the bat, I put my stop at line 0. And then I want it to do at least a stair step before it takes me out. Well, this one would have gotten you in here, so you didn't get taken out. But when it finally stair stepped, where you could put your stop would finally be right here. See the little stair step with lightning? I'll draw it. See the little stair step with lightning? You put your stop right there. Okay, that way you get out of the trade. If you happen to get in here and get a beautiful trade like that and stopped out right there, that's still a good trade. Okay, so the whole idea of Viper trading to begin with, okay, we use 4-range charts. They're very quick. We use 4-range charts because they are quick and they make what we call lightning. Okay, the lightning is extremely important, in my opinion, that you can tell where things are going. Okay, and so for instance, I see a high here, a low here. That's a lower high. So if they take this out, is that a trend change? Yes or no? Yes. Now, if they take this out and this out, would that be a trend change? No, it would still keep going. As long as you have not a trend change, in other words, that you're not getting a 1, okay, a 2, and a 3 that actually breaks down, okay, the only way this is a trend change right here is if this decides to break that line. Okay, now you're going to find that when you trade our system, okay, when you get this first thrust where they change the midband, see the midband changing and everything, okay, you can almost take it to the bank that you're going to get another thrust. That's why you can put your stop pretty comfortably down here at this line 0 if you happen to get in a phantom. Okay, now if you think about a midband though, you know, if you get in on this midband trade and let's say that this one just gives you 10 ticks and it stops you out, then you get your phantom, that's good. But if you happen to get in the midband trade and hold it for this, you got a monster trade, right? But you felt some heat for sure then. So what I will do normally in a case like that is I will simply do one contract here and I'll do one more at the phantom. If I'm pretty sure that they did a nice enough thrust that the retrace is going to get me another thrust. Okay, because the way markets do, and they do this all the time, by the way, you get that initial thrust, you get the retrace. They fake a lot of people in, you know, at these breakouts and stuff like that, like maybe a breakout like above here or something like that, or even above this resistance here, and then you don't make anything. You got to wait for the retrace. But when you see this happen in real time all the time, you'll usually get that leg 1, leg 2, and leg 3. Okay, and you'll see that our stuff will stair step as it does it. Okay, stair steps up, midband stair steps. Let me see if I've got a. I don't think I did. No, I didn't do the chart with the single. I'll do that in a teaching webinar. Okay, so we're set and ready to go on this. We're not going to take a trade right now because we just missed the phantom trade. Now, if you go taking this trade at this midband, I would not advise that, because when it's sideways like this is your trade right here, and this is your trade right here. This is your little sweet spot right here between line 1 and line 2. That's your little sweet spot. Okay. Anything else you want to stay away from until it stair steps again. Okay. Now, if you happen to box it like a midband, you know, let's say you missed this trade and you boxed it right across here and it pops up above that, then don't let it go back against you, because I don't recommend that trade. Okay. Sideways, you want to always look for phantoms. Sideways, you want to always look for phantom. I don't like the second phantom as much if it doesn't ratchet up above the previous swing. You know, like this one did. See your ratcheting, high, low, ratcheted way up above it. See there, ratcheted way above it. Pull back, didn't ratchet above it. A little more risky trade. Okay, let's see. Kevin, here's a question for you. And I'm kind of noticing for middleman, traded the direction of it goes and just kisses line, where it seems like you have a lot more success than if it passes and then it comes back. I think you're pretty much right on that because, you know, to give an example, could you go ahead and short this if this breaks this? I mean, if it actually changes trends, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, could you have Object Trader ready to box that trade? You want to see? We can find out. What you'd have to do, I would do a separate chart. Let's do a separate chart real quick. That's oil 1222, so we'll make sure to do the right one here. Bear with me a second. All right, here's you another chart right here. So let's do that. Let's just see if that pans out. Now, when I do that trade like this, I'll scalp it because the retrace is where you're going to make your money. But let's just go ahead and do it for the fun of it. Let's do a right click and go to strategy. Double click Object Trader. Now keep in mind, I've got Object Trader 1.14. You don't have that yet. And let's just do it like a scalp trader. Let's go with 8. And let's go with, let's just go for 200 bucks, 8 and 12. All right. And let's see our stop. Well, let's leave it at 15, but we'll move it. That should do it right there. And then click this and then put our box, insert and put our box, bring it down here. So in other words, it's got to break that support right there for it to head down. I'll even give it a whole bar just in case they fake us. All right, and we'll do short, touch, +2. That should be good enough because that's at least 2 ticks under that. So we'll try that. And we'll do it with 2 contracts. We'll try to get $200. And then we're going to do this one with a mid-band stair step. Okay. Now keep in mind, this trade could easily do what we want it to do because you are getting a high, low, lower, high. You just haven't gotten a lower low yet. Okay. We could also do it just so we don't get chopped around through here. We could actually just go ahead and do another one right across here with my new right click trade. Matter of fact, you want to just try that and see? We do a right click trade like right above here, just in case. Right click. There's no market data. Probably not because I haven't started it yet. Okay, that's fine. Let's see if it's actually counting. It's showing there's not market data. Let's just make sure it moves real quick. See if it's going to move. Hopefully it does. I'm on the 17th at 6:59. It's the 17th. And that's 80. Okay, there we go. What in the world is that? That's not even right data right there. That's what we ran into last week with this crazy replay. There's something squirrely about replay sometimes. Everybody see that? So let's go ahead instead. I'm going to just redo a chart and I'm going to go over the trades that it would take. Let me go ahead and do a chart. Object Trader. Let's see what it's got here. Yeah, that's crazy. We did not have, see how that went from 556 to 843? That's not even close to right. Bear with me about 20 seconds and I'm going to re-download some data because that is off big time. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the connection, and we're going to do historical data. And I'm going to show you, by the way, I'll show you that trade that I took this morning too, so you can see that you can make some great trades with this stuff right here. All right, so let's download the data. I'm going to download the 16th too, just in case. Takes just a second. All right, now let's go with, we'll start our replay again because that is way, way, way off. All right, bear with me a second. We'll kill that chart and I'll come in with a fresh one and we'll diagnose it again. All right, we've already done the black chart, so I'm going to take them down so that it doesn't have to do that again. And I'll do a connection. And this is about when I start trading here. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, so let me go back to 6. And we'll do it for the 17th. And we're going to see if it does that same squirrely thing. We'll find out here. Okay, that says 10:59. That is so weird. You know, everything about Ninja 8 is not even close to what Ninja 7 would do with some of the things in Ninja 7 I liked so much more. It was unreal. It's kind of crazy, actually. There we go. All right, let me build a chart. Sorry about that. Got to have correct data, though. All right, and then let me build a second chart like we had. If it does this again, I'm just going to have to do it manually and show you because I can even show you the trade that I even took. All right. Okay, I'll go ahead and unpause the screen. You should be able to see it now. All right, we'll put this one on top. Always on top. That way it'll stay for what I want to show here. Go with Object Trader. And we'll scroll down and do the same 8 and 12. All right, so we have Object Trader. And I'm going to go ahead and put it down there. So we'll hit our region, insert. This thing goes crazy again. I'm going to definitely show it another way. Couple of ticks under. It's got to at least break it by 3 or 4 ticks, right? Otherwise, you're not really wanting a breakout trade. All right, and we'll go touch like +2. That should give us a little trade like that right there if it happens to break it. And we could also do a right-click trade on this side. Because we have the right-click trader that's getting ready to come to y'all. Let's go ahead and do a right-click above there. Still not showing the data. That's weird. Okay. We'll see if it'll actually kick on, and then I'll see if I can right-click it. If that shoots up again, I'm going to definitely show the actual charts because this playback is not working. See if it'll move. If it doesn't, that just means that they didn't have data to play back, did they? They didn't have data, evidently, because this is exactly what it's still doing. So evidently, Ninja didn't have the data at that time, because at 6 o'clock I was trading this morning. See if it shoots up again. Put it on max. There's nothing there. No data. Okay, that's okay. Yeah. You don't want to hear what I think about Ninja right this very second, but I'll go ahead and just show the charts the way they are. Bear with me 1 second and I'll do that. And then I'm going to go over each and every trade. Let's just see if our diagnosis worked out, because we don't care if it plays back or not. We just care about the diagnosis of it, right? So I'm going to go back to 6 o'clock again, and we'll see what it did. Let's see, that's 12:22. And let's see, are they even getting the right data even now as far as it goes? Look at this. This ninja is going nuts. That's on the 16th. For crying out loud, Ninja, what are you doing to me? That's real data. That's not real data. Bear with me a second. We'll go to 24/7 and see if it'll fix itself. Okay, that's better. What I get for doing a live webinar with their data. That's still the 16th. Or is anybody else having troubles with data right now? That's unreal. That is not loading the data. Try another connection here just real quick. Yeah, that's not playback. That's real data now, but it's not playing back the data. That is so strange. Well, anybody got any suggestions on that one? Because we're not playing October 17th, and this is real data. All I can think of doing just real quick is to shut her down for a moment and then bring it right back up, because that is not the way it should be. Bear with me a moment, everyone. We'll have a good webinar if I can get this silly thing to work. Ninja, you are not my friend right now. All right, let's try a chart. We'll see if we can get some real data. Here we go. It's really weird, but this was actually, well, basically the reason though, it wouldn't even play back though. It's got to be able to play back for me to go over it. But I want to show you real quick the exact trade we were talking about, just so we all know. Okay. And the data is working perfectly now. Okay. So that was just Ninja. Okay. So we diagnosed our chart, right? Okay. We're going to go long above here. Okay. If it breaks, take a chance, because that's taking out a swing, and that's decent. I don't like an A swing only. I like an ABC. So I'll put a right click right there, for instance. Okay. But let's put a line here and see if we happen to go short. Okay. So let's see what it did. Okay. We didn't go long. We're short. Okay. So we put our little box right there, didn't we? Okay. So now we're trying to go for, what did I say, 8 and 12. That's $200. There it is. That should be it. So let's say we got filled. Let's say we got filled at like 90-ish. Let's just say even 89. Okay, that's 9 ticks. There it is right there for sure. There's your trade. That's a $200 trade right there. Okay. That's what you want to do if you diagnose your chart correctly. Okay. And we talk about this all the time in the room. I box in these trades all the time like that, and I'll take that short. But I only want to scalp it because more than likely it's going to retrace. And that's the whole idea of stair stepping. Okay. Let's see if it retraces at all. We're going to get out of the trade, by the way, if it does any kind of pullback at all. Draw a trend line. Let's just say we're not seeing the rest of this. So let's just draw a trend line. If it takes out that trend line, we're flat. We're flat. See it? Okay. So now let's pretend, since I can't get the data to work, let's pretend that we get a mid-band trade. We are stair stepping. Okay, so we're looking for a mid-band trade. No trade there yet. Mid-band only fires if it goes 2 ticks inside. That's 1 tick inside, by the way. No fire, no big deal. We're looking for a mid-band trade. First time after trend change. There it is right there. Bar closes down, we'll be in the trade. There's your down bar. Okay, so let's say that you got to fill at 85. Good enough, right? See if we can get another $200. There's 200. Even if we just scalp it. You want to just scalp it? Let's just see if we can get it. Okay, we got in at like 87, I said, so that's 76. That's 11 ticks, right? So we just wanted 8 and 12, so there's 12. There's 8 and 12. So there's another $200 right there. Okay? Now that's without trying to go for the gusto, which we can go ahead and try to go down to here if you want. You know, because I always draw on my charts, and if it touches that and bounces it all, I'll get out of it. It's good enough. So that's probably a little bit more than $200 right there, right? So not too shabby, okay? So see, the whole key to doing this is the stair stepping, okay? If you'll wait for the stair stepping or the breakdown, now keep in mind you've got to diagnose your chart properly though, okay? When you had a high here, a low here, a lower high, and a lower low, that was changing trends. Now, if it would have just faked you and then bounced right up, it would have never changed this midband, by the way. Once it changes this midband at all or changes this background to red, you can pretty much count on it going the direction you're wanting to go. Okay? Now, this particular way of trading, in my personal opinion, is absolutely the best that you can possibly do because you'll make money at it every day of your life if you just simply do it the right way and just watch for the stair stepping. Now, one thing I want to try to teach tonight too, though, is measured moves. How many of you watch measured moves? How many of you like measured moves? Because what I do when I'm trading is I like to actually start drawing a box on my trading chart, and I'll just keep drawing it. If it breaks down, I'll keep drawing it. If it breaks down, I'll keep drawing it. If it breaks down, I keep drawing it. Okay? The reason for that is because if it finally retraces it all, then it's going to give me a measured move. Okay? Now, so far, it's right here. Okay? But also check your fibs and everything and just keep drawing it. You know, in other words, if it happens to go lower, we'll draw it some more. If it goes higher, we'll draw it from there. Okay, that went down a little bit lower. Just keep watching it. Now it's going up a little bit higher, but that's a phantom. Now this trade right here, by the way, if you think about this, you just got a $200 trade, you got a $200 trade, you got a $200 trade, you got another $200 trade. Those are all mid-band trades. Red background, stair-stepping mid-band. When it changes this color background, it's no longer stair-stepping mid-band. Okay, this is a phantom trade. All right, phantom trade fires on that bar right there. It just has to be inside line 6 to line 7. Does everybody know what I mean by line 6 and line 7 also? Line 0, line 1, line 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so those are our lines. When I talk about that in the trading room, I'm talking about like a phantom short, we want between line 6 and line 7. Boom, you're in it. Okay, that's a phantom trade, by the way. Okay, now if this breaks the support here, we're going to get our measured move. See if it does. It broke support. See it right there, barely breaking it? We'll give it a little bit more wiggle room. Let's see if it does. Okay, it broke it. So now where's your measured move? This little trade right here, I showed this morning on crude oil. Just do like that. draw your line, and you can almost count on a trade bouncing at that measured move. Now, always go to your highest point though, okay? Now here's another measured move right here that's already set itself up. This is one that you're going to try to get down to here. Now watch this measured move right here. You want to draw 1, 2, 3, and this measured move would be from here to here, right? Thrust, retrace, to here. See it? Thrust, retrace, all right? And then this particular measured move now is getting down to this line. Now watch if you can actually see another move on here. You're going to do it like this. Okay, this is your measured move now. You get a thrust. That's your thrust. That's your retrace. And this is your next thrust. Okay. Now you're going to find this works more than you'd dream, actually. It's amazing. There's your target right down there. Okay. Now, if you get good enough on charts to actually see this in real time, and let's say, for instance, you had shorted this phantom right here, that trade actually literally went right down to that low. See it right there? I showed it. Matter of fact, I showed it in the room this morning how easily you can do these measured moves. And you'll be surprised if you'll do those like that, because see where this actually started going up above this little swing across here? Even though that background's red and everything, could you actually take that trade long across there? It's gutsy, but it can be done. Matter of fact, we've got a feature built into Object Trader that if it hits this line right here, it'll actually reverse it. It's called a reverse at target. It's a feature we built into Object Trader. But this little trade, you wouldn't believe it. It actually just popped down a little bit. There's your, remember your 1, 2, 3 we talked about? It's very important to remember that. Is this the same thing as this except the opposite direction? You have a low, you have a high. If you take out this high right here, is that a trend change? Yes. And then you would look for it to stair step the other way if it happens to break it. So could you take this trade across here? And the answer is yes. I showed that this morning in the trading room. And I took that on another one of my accounts, but let me show you where I also got it. And I've still got the chart here because I want to show you how you can use the mid-band trader. See this stair stepping right here? Totally stair stepping up. Well, your next trade is at mid-band. You would turn on your mid-band trader and you would get that trade. You wait for the pullback, got to wait for a pullback, and you'll always get a pullback. So you haven't gotten it yet though. Now, right when it comes in 2 ticks, there's a mid-band trade right there. Now, what do you think about that trade, by the way? You think, well, it could retrace more. Well, there's your swing right here. So if it breaks that, it's not heading up any longer, right? High, low, higher, high. If they break that, it's the same as over here where we broke down. So could you take that trade as a mid-band trade? I'll show you. This is what I showed in the room this morning. That's a mid-band trade. I took one contract. Okay, it was close to 7:30. I watched that news really close. It was okay. I added one here, and the little rascals at the news took it down a little bit, but they kept my swing. See my swing? Still got a higher low, so I stuck it out. Took one off here, added another one at Phantom, teach the Phantom trade, and took it all off right here. And that right there, trading, is a $1,620 trade with simply 1, 2, take one off, that's 1 again, add 1 again, that's 2, take one out, that's your last one, right? And then let's see, 1, 2, scaled out, added, right? And then took it out, and I probably didn't get the rest of the chart because I've got one left on. But the whole thing is you can do this with our software because these trades will work just the way you want them to. To give an example, when I start stair stepping on a trade, if I get a mid-band trade, notice that I kept it even though it went down to Phantom. I didn't like it, but I knew as long as it held this swing right here, this high, this low, and this higher high on the left of the chart, that was still going to head up. Okay, they're going to do this to you all the time, and you've got to be ready to take the direction that the trend's going. Okay, because they do it in stair steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, deeper retrace, 6. Remember this trade? I called it in the room this morning, right here. Called this trade in the room this morning at 7:50ish when I opened the room, and I got that trade with you. Okay, so the whole idea, and I apologize for some of this webinar going south on us, unfortunately, because of the fact that the data wasn't even working correctly. But let me show you some trade setups real quick, and let's see if you can pick them. I'm going to just, since we only have the data on the chart, we're going to go literally a bar at a time and come up to the time that I opened the room. Okay, so let's just simply go a bar at a time. Hopefully I can make it do it. They used to do it like this in Ninja 7. Evidently they don't now. Ninja 8, I'm going to shoot you. Yeah, Ninja 8 doesn't do it like that, so let's just advance it a little bit at a time. All right. Now I open the room at 7:50. By the way, there's a little trade right there. Does anybody see it setting up before your eyes? What if you got in one here? Do I really care as long as this heads up? Okay, high, low, higher, high. Draw my line. If that holds without closing below that line, I'm pretty much ready to leave this trade in and even take another one right here. Now, the reason for that is because when they retrace on you like this, okay, they're going to give you these opportunities to get a mid band and either get right back out just in case you're wrong, but always look to the left to trade the right. And you're going to see at the moment that you had a high, a low, and a higher high. Okay, see your higher high there? So doesn't that seem like, unless they break this, just like I talked about a few minutes ago, could I have a separate chart going where I say, you know what, if you break this, I'm going to short your little tail end. But if you bounce with a higher low than this, I'm going to jump in with another contract. That'll happen all the time, because higher lows simply mean higher lows. It doesn't have to be 3 ticks. It doesn't have to be 10 ticks. It just has to be a higher low. Okay. Now, some people don't like this where you get in, you don't want to jump in with like 3 here and then hold it all the way down to here, because you could be wrong and they could crater this thing. Okay. But you're going to find time and time again, if you just diagnose the left side of the chart, you're going to be able to do some monster nice trading. Let me just show you the rest of this little, see it thrusted up here, retraced here, thrusted up here, like so. Now, does that look like a downtrend at all? No. So the beauty of our stuff is actually, and it all has to do with stair stepping. When you stair step this shadow here, it stair steps a midband. These are just deviations. Okay, that midband's the most important thing on there, but it's not the catch-all of everything. You've got to still trust the swings. Swings are king. Okay, Prince Charles is now, but anyway, in trading, swings are king. Right? So, for instance, let's say that you got in this trade right here, at a mid-band. That's a great trade. That's the one I showed. Okay, but isn't that still a great trade with a higher low? That's the most important thing. Now, what if this had a low here instead and it broke it? Then it's a different story. Okay, but you've always got to look to the left to trade the right. So could you take a trade like that? And look at that stair stepping. Our little trader will take this trade, this trade, this trade. It'll take even this trade right here. Now, where's your low on this particular side of the chart? High, low, higher, high. that's where they'll head down if they break it. Okay. So if I get in a mid-band trade like in through here, can I hold this? And if you don't trust it with full contracts, then do the micros. But you're going to find out that if you trade this way, you're going to do a lot better because frankly, they'll retrace 38, they'll retrace 50, they'll retrace 61, they'll retrace 70. You don't know when they're going to stop. Nobody does. Okay. They can put all the indicators on their charts, and I'll guarantee you, watching price, that you can out trade them. Okay. But let's just pretend we put in one here. All right. Let's just pretend we put in one right there at mid band. Now you have a choice if it breaks this to take it off the table. Okay. So that would be in. You're only up like 3 ticks. You know, if they come back against you, you could get out. That looks like about a 7 or 8 tick trade. You might be good to go on that particular trade. It worked. Okay. That little trade worked. So you're good to go. Okay. But what if it decided to come down some and go into like a phantom trade? This is the little trade that I called in the room this morning. Now, could you have taken some coin already on that mid-band trade? Sure. But where's your swing? It's way down here. So could I trust this at least to line 1? If it does come down, you know, give it a little bit of wiggle room. You know, what if it decides to come down and do like a phantom trade? This was the exact trade I called in the room this morning. And notice what they did. There's your line 1. There's your swing. You've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a higher high. So if this gets a higher low, guess what? For Oklahoma slang, it ain't heading down. Okay. Now, if it breaks this, would I be ready to short this in a New York minute? Okay. But don't be afraid of some trades, you know, especially if you're stair stepping. You know, if every time, even when they go flat for a while, they're still stair stepping before that. Okay. This is a little bit more iffy trade once it starts getting that really long mid band. That's not stair stepping. Okay. But it can still be taken. And, you know, if you decide you want to just hold a trade like this, maybe go 2, well, you're up 80 bucks, let's say, because you came back to 0. Okay. But by the time you get down here, you're down about $130. But you remember the trade? I called that out this morning live. This little trade we took on this bar right here. This was a phantom long. Hopefully I've got my little timer set right. Probably don't. All you got to do if you want to set your timer on your alert signal, go to alert, set that for 1440. That's a full day. Save that as your template. I think I will. And that way it'll flash those bars for you. Phantom long, flash bar, flash bar. Called that trade in the room this morning. Now, what if a person right before this, when I opened the room this morning, now that did get a little pop trade. So that's not what I consider a loss at all. But if a mid-band does not take out this previous swing like it did before, see, like let's look at a mid-band. See, here's a mid-band trade. It took out the swing to the left. So then you go for another mid-band trade. Didn't give you much, gave you a phantom, off you went. And you saw that I held that. Okay, showed you on my chart right here. See that little trade? Held the mid-band. I bought it at mid-band. So you can see I bought it at 84.90. It came all the way down to 84.72. I got in at 76 and I thought, what the heck? Crude, are you going to take me out? Did I get upset about it though? Nope, because I had a swing right there and it had to hold. If it didn't hold, guess what? I would have watched for a break, kiss, and a roll and gone short. And that's all you have to do because it'll stair step the other direction. Okay? So what I'm trying to really show tonight is that you can trust the scripts. Okay? Notice this right here to give an example. Okay? You remember when this happened this morning? We actually got short. We boxed this in right here. Remember? But I also said be careful with shorts because you had a higher low down here. You want to always be careful when you got a higher low, okay? Because shorts aren't necessarily going to work out when you have higher lows. Matter of fact, I even mentioned doing a little trend line. Remember, you can draw trend lines with Object Trader, and you can actually take that trade live, because all it did is barely change backgrounds and trend, and then it took off again, okay? So always look to the left to trade the right. You're going to find that you're going to trade so much better, because our charts change quite quickly. But if you look at the overall on it and just see in your mind, okay, thrust, retrace, thrust, and then always look to the left. You know, when I see on my chart where I've got a left swing and it's still a higher low, I'm not about to short it, except for a scalp. But then you pull back, okay? You got this little pullback right here. Sorry about that. Got this little pullback like this right here. And if it goes deeper, you keep watching it. There's your swing right there. Looking left to trade the right. See it? So if it gets any higher than that, guess what? You're looking for longs. Okay? Don't fall for every little thing that they do, because they'll take your coin and they'll run away with it. You don't have to let them do that. Okay? Let it have some room to grow. Okay? See, this came all the way down to here instead, but that's still a higher low than that. See it? And then you had another thrust right here. See that thrust? Where's your low on this chart? Well, high, low, higher, high. So there's your support level before it's going to break down. Doesn't mean you can't short this, because I call these shorts all the time right here. But I tell people, you be careful, because till it breaks this, it's not heading down. And you got a higher low and off it went again. Okay? So stair stepping is absolutely the key to trading Viper. And if you really learn to do this on a daily basis and bake some coin, you notice when I showed that trade that I made this morning, I didn't just keep trading that particular account. I turned it off. It was good enough. Okay. But let's look at this trade right here, for instance. All right. This is one that faked you on a mid band. Now, would you really take a mid band trade here to begin with? Because this little thrust needs a pullback, a pretty deep pullback. Anytime you get these smaller thrusts, you want to get this pullback of at least 50 to 61%. And to me, that's at least right there. Even as low as 70 to 76%, and at least as low as 50. Okay? Because you don't want to just jump in this trade if it's like a 38% and it's that small of a move. And watch what they usually do. See, that one came all the way to 76, right through the 61, and then bounced. But what if you would have taken it the way I've taught it tonight, and you've either got to take it out if it really quickly moves, but you're going to lose 50 bucks per contract, even on that if you take it out. But what if you just decided, you know what? I'm going to trust the scripts, because we designed this to where a phantom trade is going to be right here. And as long as you got a higher low than that, I'm a happy camper. Okay? And when they really start breaking down, you're going to notice that they'll break support, and then you can get some good trades. But the stair stepping is definitely the key. Look, matter of fact, we'll go all the way to the end of the day and see what's going on. I think right now there's literally nothing going on in crude oil. It's got a phantom right now. I wouldn't trade it this time of evening for anything, though. It's too slow. Is there any warning to stay out of the 814 mid-band trade? The 814 mid-band trade, this one right here? No, not really. It was just you did have a high, low, lower high at the time. I don't like mid-band trades unless they ratchet up. So that would be one good reason. Because the whole thing is, the whole key to ratcheting is that it has to take out the previous swing to the left. And at the time, that was here. So that's a little bit less trustworthy of a mid-band to begin with. But, you know, if you trade like this right here, though, you know, that got in here, got one added there, kept in there even with the Phantom, took it out right here. I knew where it was going. It was doing a measured move, and it did it. And you just got to trust the scripts and trust, you know, they're going to give thrusts and pullbacks. But if you go short, long all day, instead of making $1,620 on that beautiful trade, you're going to lose $1,620, and you'll lose an Apex account, a Lilu account, or whatever you happen to go in. Okay. This really doesn't start breaking. Let's just watch it on the chart. You got a high, low, higher, high. Let's just see when this all breaks, if it does. Got a low, high, little higher low, so let's put a right there. High, low, higher, double top, so we're going to still count that as your long short area. See what it does. Breaking down, mid-band trade. Let's see if it gets a Phantom. There's a Phantom trade right there. And I'd stop out of that Phantom right across there because they're actually bouncing off a mid-band, and I don't trust it when they do that. So when they bounce off a mid-band like that, just simply take your quick little money, or if you didn't make money on that trade, you know, just take the lump on it. It's no big deal. Okay? And then wait for another stair step if you have to. In other words, if this actually doesn't do what you want it to do, it stopped you out, went above line 6, closed above even, or you could still be in it as far as that goes. That's fine too. But you definitely want your stop at line 8, like that. And that looks like it did a little scalp, maybe. Little scalp, not much of one, but a little scalp. And let's see if we can get a mid-band trade or a Phantom. Here's your line in the sand long short. See it? High, low, higher, high. Everybody sees that, right? You're short. And you got a little trade. Felt a little bit of heat though. It went back and checked resistance. But see, when it broke that support right there, that was your high, your low, your higher high. So they were breaking down. Pretty simple. Okay. Just give me a time of the day and let's see if we can get, let's just watch for a stair step. Let's see if this idea works. Okay. We're going to watch for a stair step. We'll wait for it to either change trends or go sideways. And then we're going to look for a stair step. There's sideways. See the sideways? Little rose-colored mid-band. That is sideways right there. Where's your line in the sand long short? High, low, higher, high. That's your line in the sand long short, and that's your line in the sand long short right there. Okay? Not breaking it just yet. Or let's wait for a stair stepping mid-band. That's fine. I'll take the breakout too, though. Let's see if we can get something on the breakout. Because you've got a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. So that's a ABC type move. So that's a lightning 3. I trust lightning 3 more than lightning 2. So I'm only going to short if it breaks that line. And it didn't break it. Short. That is a beautiful short, by the way. Okay. That's the key to it right there. Okay. Now, are you getting a stair stepping mid-band? Yes or no? Well, I would say by looking at the chart, you probably are. See it? Real big stair stepping. So let's watch for the first mid-band trade after a trend change to see if it works. That one went only one tick in, so you didn't get a mid-band trade. That's okay. That one didn't go in. Doesn't mean you can't take it. That's in. See it? That's within. Anytime it goes 2 ticks inside the shadow, that is a mid-band trade. Stair stepping mid-band, first time after trend change. Let's see if it just makes us 200 bucks. Bar closes down, we're in it. We're in. We're in at like 84.74. And all we got to do is get 12 ticks and we got $200. We got $200. Everybody see that, how easy that is? You can literally do this all day long. I mean, literally all day long. Now let's watch and see if we can get one more flat line or trend change. Could you turn on your mid-band trader both ways? And the answer would be yes. Okay, let's see if we can get another mid-band trade. That's close. Didn't quite get there. That's close. That's it right there. See where it's hitting line between line 4 and line 3? If that bar rolls over, guess what? We're short. We're short 70, say 3 or 2. 73 or 2, we got our stop in at 79. And there is a scalp. Okay, now let's see if we can get a stair-stepping mid-band again. It's flatlining quite a bit. If it doesn't take out these lows, start being careful with mid-bands. Let's see if it takes out the lows. Barely. When they do that, they're usually not going to be heading down. Let's see if it does, just for the fun of it. Out. See it taking out that swing. So let's watch for another stair-stepping mid-band. By the way, where's your line in the sand long short on this chart right now? It's right there. If they break that, could you go long? Yeah. You barely ratcheted down, so I'd be real careful with the mid-band. But let's take the mid-band. If it rolls over, there's your entry. Stop's going to be right either here or flip it if it takes out 79. Flipped. Now, I'm not caring about a phantom right now because it took out lightning 3. So we're in it to win it. Let's see if it works. Now watch, okay, now this is a breakout, so you got your $200 again. We don't care if it pulls back, that's fine, that's $200. And then let's see, oh, there's a stair-stepping mid-band. So what kind of a trade are we looking for, anybody? And let's go ahead and put our stop in before it ever even comes to it, okay? We're gonna put a buy in at mid-band because the mid-band trader will take it. I'm gonna put another buy in at phantom just in case the mid-band trader pulls back deeper, okay? And I'm gonna hold this trade as low as line 1. So I'm gonna go in 1 here and hope it bounces for us, and that'll be good if it does. But let's see what it does here. Okay, there's a stair stepping down. There's your line in the sand long short in a way, but you got a stair stepping mid-band. So we do have one trade. Don't ever go against the trim when it changes because you've usually got at least one phantom, one mid-band. Don't fall for shorts here if it takes out the swing because you're just going to get a retracement on your Fibonacci. Let's see what it would be. 50% would be right there, 61 would be right there. So I'm going to take one trade on a 50, one trade on a 61, and we're going to put our stop at line 1 just in case. It is a little swing, high, low, higher, high, so we could trust that swing way down here. And let's see if how much heat we feel or if we feel heat at all. No 38s, by the way. Not a big enough run for a 38. Still heading up though, that's all right. Didn't get a mid-band trade though. Now we're gonna have to move our fibs. Well, let's just trust the mid-band. Let's just trust the mid-band instead. We don't care about the fib. Here's your swing. All right. That should bounce when it gets here. Okay. So let's see if it does. We're gonna see if we can get a mid-band trade. Stair stepping mid-band. There's a mid-band trade right there. Mid-band trade. Okay, if the bar goes up, I'm long. Okay, we're long. We're long at 85.10. We're going to put our stop at line 1. And if it comes down and holds this low, see how you've got a high, low, higher, high? I'm going to put my stop just a tad below that just so they don't wick me out. See it? high, low, higher, high. So let's see if we can get another entry at all, or if we can add at the mid band, either one. Going a little bit lower. Now, am I looking for shorts yet? Anybody? There's a phantom. I'm going to add one. I'm going to add one right there. So I'm in two. So I got one here, I got one here, and my stop's right there. And you just got yourself another 200 bucks. Well, actually you didn't, because you got, I forgot, you got in here and here. So your average is right through here. So let's see if we can go any higher. I'd love to get a thrust retrace on my trading. You got to have that or you'll never make money. It needs to hold that swing. That's good enough. We made money. So we got in here and here. So let's say that you got in at mid-band right there on that bar. That one flashes. So you're in at like 85.11, and you got another one at 85.03. Okay. So your average on that obviously is 8 ticks. So 4 ticks up, about 85.07. So you've got 85.07 is your average right there. And your trade right now is at 26. So you're definitely in the coin. See how that works? Don't be afraid of stair-stepping mid-bands, and always look to the left to trade the right. The reason I stayed in that trade that I showed in real time this morning in the room was because the swing held. High, low, higher high at the time. I added one. Now, did I feel some heat on that? Even with, by the way, Apex, if you're in the funded account and you're past the threshold, you don't really care about the pullbacks as much. Okay, you do when you're first evaluating or first funded. So be very careful of that when it pulls back like that, because I had 1, 2, and by the time it got down here, I was a little underwater, just barely. But I trusted the stair stepping because it had stair stepped. Okay, and I always expect when it starts stair stepping to get a 1, 2, 3 for a measured move. Okay, I hope this helped everybody, because you can clearly see that's perfect way to trade it right there. That's as good as it gets. Okay, but don't just jump in and out of trades, because they'll eat your lunch if you do. I mean, they just love to, get somebody 5, 6 ticks, and then you have to make it all up again. Okay, now you got a high here, you got a low here. Could you already be ready for if this decides to break down? The answer is yes. You're going to draw on your charts just like I taught earlier in the webinar. So if this keeps heading up, that's fine. Glory to it. Powerful trade. There's a mid-band trade. Beautiful mid-band trade, by the way. Look at that beauty. All right, there's your line in the sand, long short now. Like at 14, see what it does. That's another mid-band trade right there. It didn't ratchet up very much, so watch this right here. Let's see if we can get a phantom at all. There's a phantom. Worked out. Little trade, not much. Let's see if it works a little bit further than that. Beautiful. You just got a phantom trade. Put your stop right there, and right there. Just as tight as you want to get it, because if it double tops, you want out. Line in the sand, long short. Box in with object trader. Another phantom trade, 10 ticks, good. See that little trade worked also? But you've already got your line in the sand drawn, because you got a high here, a low here, and a higher high. They never took that out. They got a lower high here. Well, actually the same, so it double topped. So a lot of times they will check this. So just simply put your sell in right under it, just so they don't wick you into it. And if they break this line, then take the trade. And see, that's actually breaking that line pretty much. See it? But if you miss that trade, look for the stair stepper and watch for the mid-band trade. That mid-band trade first time after a trend change. How about that one? First time after a trend change long, stair stepping mid-band. And this is all the way to the close right here. Is that actually a short yet? Anybody? Well, you got a high here, low here, sorry. You got a high way up here. And now over here, you're stair stepping, yes, but you still got a yellow mid-band. So I'd take this trade, if it wasn't this time of night, this little trade here would have been taken here, holding with line 0, and you're still in the trade with the close of a bar. Now, like I say, I don't trade this time of night because it's about like watching paint dry, but you know, that's definitely a phantom trade that's still working so far. Okay. The beauty of, if I could have shown it too, and I am going to show it tomorrow morning, I'll show the right click trader, because what I've done with right click trader, and we're running kind of late, but let me just show you real quick. I'll disconnect the data here, and I'm going to put it on simulated data so I can move it so you can see how it works. All right, we'll just simply put it on like that, take off all this, go to strategy, object trader. I'll show you some of the new features, and I'll show these again tomorrow too. But let's say, for instance, that you wanted to trade this. Bear with me a second. See where my little deal went, because I'm going to manipulate this just to show you how it'll work. All right, let's say that you were in this phantom right here, but you wanted just to do a right-click trade. You'll be able to actually do a buy stop. You can do as many contracts as you want up to the max. You can change the max in the middle of the trade. You know, for instance, if I said, you know what, I want 4 contracts here. Well, if I click any more than 3, it's going to automatically say 1. See how it just says 1? Okay. So I have to stay under my max. So I just simply say, you know what? We'll go 3, and see there, it just went. Okay. And now keep in mind, I'm just doing this so you can see it. Okay. So basically, we've added this little feature. Okay. But I can also even flip it. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. I wanted this added so bad because, you know, there's times you want to dump a trade and get the other way. But let's say, for instance, you wanted to flip this trade right here. Well, that's got 3, and I've got 3 on long. So I can actually do as many as 6 on a short. And I just simply change this to 6. And that will flip the trade. Okay. That easily. And you'll see it's short 3. You got all your targets and everything. Okay. So this is what we've been working on the last several weeks, is getting this all done. These are some pretty cool features on Object Trader. Okay, because you're going to find that you'll love these features on Object Trader. And the beauty of it is, let's say that you were doing micros. Let's just pretend this was micros instead. You want to do 10 contracts, just change that little puppy up to 10. And then on here, just set it for whatever. You know, let's say you wanted to sell 6, for instance, and you wanted to add 4 more. Well, you can add it as high as 10 because I've got it set at 10. And you'll notice now it's at 10. See there? 3, 2, and 3. And one other is underneath one of these. There we go. See there? It was on top of the other one, I could tell. So see, there's 3, 2, 2, and 3. So there's 10 contracts right there. Okay. And if I wanted to flip it again, let's say I just wanted 1 contract flipped instead, I'd just be able to say, okay, I got 10 short and I just want 1 long. Then I would just simply do 11 up. So I'd set that for my normal 6, put it at 11, and it would actually flip the trade. When it actually goes 11 plus 10, it would flip it by 1 contract. You'll see 1 contract long as soon as it does. And there you go, 1 long contract. So we got this all working perfectly. Okay. I'm just waiting on him to, he's doing one more thing to it, and that is for it to actually physically check the targets, the stops, and everything else with your broker and with NinjaTrader Control Center. That way it'll always be exactly what it's supposed to be. Okay, I hope this helped everybody today. I try to endeavor to make sure that I always show you things that'll help you in your trading. And believe me, if you just start to trade like this, you can do pretty well, because 1620 on a trade this morning is not too shabby. You know, you could call that a one and done. but just don't get pulled in and out of them so easily. You know, make sure that you're trusting one thrust, pull back, another thrust. Okay. You've always got to be aware of the fact the reason you get a phantom trade that usually takes out the top and goes up even higher is because they're doing it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. And all we care about is 1, pullback, and 3. That's the leg you want is 3 right there. Okay. Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. I did record this, so it'll be up on the website first thing in the morning. And let's trade again tomorrow. And keep in mind that these trades are not after the fact. When that room was open, that very first trade right out of the gate was called right there, and we nailed that puppy. That was a $1,200 trade, by the way. 2 contracts. That's all you had to do. Okay. Thanks everyone. See you in the morning. This one helped you, David? Good. All right. Thanks everyone. And by the way, if I missed any questions, hit me tomorrow morning, because truthfully, with just me in the webinar, sometimes I will miss something, but I promise you I didn't do it on purpose. Okay. We'll see you in the morning.